move to recommend person X as our new committee member. Okay? If there's a tie, we do have a backup plan for that. And we need a quick break. You've got
30 seconds.
Well, we can start at 6:05 if you.
We can start later.
Sure. Anyone
We
need a
just-
break?
Yes, please.
I just turn to the bathroom real quick.
And then,
Well, we better have enough bathrooms.
that's
I'll go in
never,
the office.
there's always a problem with ladies' bathrooms. And having enough.
Yes, I think Tyler.
Does anybody else need a pen when I'm going into the office? I can get a pen.
Through the classroom.
She went out the back side. It's like the gangster escape.
Wow. Have you guys done that St. Paul,
Not the, no.
the caves tour?
No.
No, I've been, it's on my bucket list, I've never done
I
it.
kind of want to see it.
I have never been to the cave either.
That's that bag over there.
I've heard about the cave, but I've never made it to the
Yeah,
cave.
they were supposed to do prom there this year, did they decide against that, do you know?
I guess they're doing it on a boat.
Oh, they're going back to the
Everyone's still
boat.
on it.
That's what it was when Idris graduated. Well, the year before.
Last year,
Last year
my,
they did the caves.
yeah, they may have done the Wabasha Street caves.
That's right.
My son last year went to Mounds View High School's prom with his tea instead of Irondale's, and they actually didn't do it dance. So all the kids got together and they did pictures in various places, and then they went to school and they did their big march. So they all got to show off their outfits and whatever, get pictures, and families were there to take pictures, whatever. Then all the kids went out to dinner or did various things, and then they went to the Mall of America, and they had rented out, I always call it Camp Snoopy, but it's whatever it is, Nickelodeon Universe now. They rented out Nickelodeon Universe, all the kids took off all their prom stuff, put on pajamas, and then they just did rides and whatever. So they literally only wore their dress-up clothes for pictures and a promenade. And then they so no dance, and they loved it. They were like, it was so much fun.
That sounds like it.
Like, none of us dance anymore. We don't want to dance. Like, we want to go do fun stuff. So, thought it was kind of funny.
That's where I'd be the blood. I think Justin is too. Should I move? Should I have my seat done? Just sit.
You can sit here.
But that's where it comes down to. Where do they run? How do they run?
It's a good question.
Oh, I'm just making sure your volume, you good?
Yeah.
In your eyes, just playing or something like that, then I get a little weird, okay? So. Or Dreamweaver? Are you too, you're too young for Dreamweaver, aren't you? Dreamweaver? Are you too young?
I can't think of all the words, but I have the tune in my head right now. So,
Isn't that the Wayne's World thing where they go into
Yeah,
the
yeah,
dream sequence?
yeah.
Madonna.
see it with the
What do you do, TikToks now?
My kids wanted to do a TikTok in my class. I was like, Miss Nice, you should do TikTok videos of
Ryan
us.
is
I'm like,
not
no.
coming tonight, but I haven't seen.
I saw him pulling in the parking lot before 5, but I don't know where he is, but we'll just carry on.
You go.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Sorry.
We'll
Making up
just carry
songs
on.
now.
If he doesn't make it, then we'll.
Wayward Son,
Yeah.
But
little sticks.
I just grabbed a couple of things.
You know, all the songs. Every time people are gonna say things, I'm gonna
I
go with
turn
the songs
around.
in my head.
In my-
Turn. Have you seen the one where they play that the dog
No,
spins?
no.
They thought their dog turned around, so then when they would sing,
It would just.
something like
Every
that.
now and then I get.
Are we ready?
Ryan, behave yourself.
You ready,
You're about to
Caitlin?
be on camera.
Team, are you ready? You're on. Ready. Okay, hi. Hi, everybody, thanks for coming. Today it is Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. It is currently 6:04 p.m. and this is the Math and Science Academy Board of Directors meeting. And it will call us to order. Is there a volunteer to read our vision and mission statements? Thank you, Mary.
Our vision is to be an innovative, sustainable model of academic excellence for all students that creates well-rounded lifelong learners and global citizens. And our mission is that we provide accelerated and inclusive curricula and instruction in all subjects with an emphasis on math and science.
Thank you. Is there a volunteer to read the land acknowledgement?
Everyone wants, I'll give it a shot. Thank
Okay,
you.
Brian?
We would like to acknowledge that the land in which we gather is the land of the Ochi-Ti-Sakoi, the people of the Seven Council Fires, and the Bidiwa Kantuan Band. The existence of the Dakota and the Oate have lived here in this area since the time immemorial and before the U.S. war was created. The state of Minnesota was created. They live within Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Michigan. They were the caretakers of the land and lived in harmony. They belonged to the land, and the land did not belong to them. It is within MSA's responsibility as an academic institution to disseminate the knowledge about the indigenous people and their history and relationship with this land. MSA works to build this relationship with indigenous students and their families through academic pursuits and historical recognition.
All right, roll call members. Kari Kerner, here. Brian Linsmeyer.
Here.
Sarah Harms.
Here.
Jen Nice.
Here.
Isaac Leonardi.
Here.
Mark Gressiff.
Here.
Leanne Ahmad.
Here.
And Mary Yap.
Here.
Open forum, we didn't have any open forum requests, so we'll pass on that. We're going to approve tonight's agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Any comments or questions on tonight's agenda? Okay. All in favor of approving the agenda as is? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes. Thank you. Are there any conflicts of interest tonight? All right, moving on. We're going to go to approving the minutes from our last meeting. Is there a motion to approve the February 24th meeting minutes?
I move to approve the February 24th meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
I can second.
Anyone looking over the meeting minutes? Anything that you noticed, comments, concerns? We have two really great secretaries, and it looks really well followed up, thank you. If anyone? All right, we will go ahead and vote, so all in favor of approving the minutes as they are? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Minutes passed. All right, we're gonna do some recognition. Go ahead, Kate.
Okay, so we are proud to recognize our HOSA students who competed in the Minnesota HOSA State Leadership Conference, and that's health, occupational, how does that, could you say it more?
Well, they actually kind of eliminated the whole like occupation, but yeah, health occupational services associations.
Okay, yeah, so I wanted to make sure I got that right. The conference was over spring break, so these students took time from their spring break to compete. 9 students placed in the top 5 in their events, and 6 placed in the top 3, qualifying our team for the HOSA International Conference. So this is the second year, right? Only second year for HOSA, and Mr. Gressiff is actually their advisor. But we wanted to congratulate how well you all have done in such a very new club. Also, congratulations to Claire, who is finishing her term as Vice President of Growth, and Sahasra, was elected as the Activities Coordinator for next year. So thank you so much for representing us. And Mr. Gressiff, if there's anything else you'd like to say about the team?
No, it's just a really fabulous group of young men and women that go there and they work extremely hard and they go with just an amazing attitude. And that whole conference up in St. Cloud was absolutely wonderful, and I couldn't ask for anything better from a group of students, so very, very fortunate to be Moses' advisor and work with such a phenomenal group of kids.
And you know, we are so very proud that you can go to a conference and represent us so well. So thank you so much. So if you would like to come up and shake hands with the board, and then we'll take your picture.
You got this way.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Thank you. Good job. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good job.
Congratulations. And then stay over here, we're gonna take a little photo. You can line up your picture.
Yes. You're gonna line up against the table.
Yeah, get back like this way, and then I'll take your picture.
Yeah, Mike, you get in the middle there. Okay.
Okay, if you could.
Yeah, you can stand.
Oh,
I know, right? Maybe I'll go with mine too.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out tonight, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, always good to have students around. Consent agenda, is there a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
I'll move to approve today's consent agenda tonight's,
Today.
tonight, yeah.
A second,
I will second that.
any commentary, discussion on the consent agenda?
I have
Yes,
one
ma'am.
question.
Mhm.
Item 3, we had referred back to governance, but I know governance hadn't met yet, so will that still go back to the governance?
Yes,
Committee?
so,
I just wanna make sure that it
right,
doesn't not come back around.
Yeah.
after
thank
they
you for
review it.
clarifying. Just so, as a reminder, everybody, yes, these are all that were up for this 3-year review.
Mhm.
So we will review, make sure we're in compliance with the law, so that's what we're approving tonight. Anytime you have a question about a policy, or you want something done with it, you can, in writing, submit it to the governance chair, who happens to be Jen, right? And that will go then onto the agenda for discussion. Does that sound good?
Okay. And
These 3 were reviewed at our January meeting, and no changes at that meeting were recommended by the governance committee. So now they're coming to the board for approval on legislative updates and the fact that the board, that the committee at that time did not see any changes needed. So if there is something that you want changed, submit it in writing and we'll put it on the agenda.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, then, so let's, all in favor of approving tonight's consent agenda? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes. We have our reports. Our students tonight, Ryan couldn't be here, he wasn't feeling well, and Sega is unable to be here as well, so student reports. I will just tell you that they had Pi Day today on behalf of the PTO, which is wonderful. Everyone enjoyed a slice of pie, so it's the joy of being at a math school.
I will also add that Ryan and Sega were on our FNN, which is our Fire News Network. It's a little blurb that the kids put together. And they were talking about what it meant to be board representatives and what they do on the board and encouraging other students to step up and become board members. And they did a really lovely job. It's on YouTube. I don't know if you guys get to see it, if any of the teachers watch them, but they did a really, really nice job, spoke very eloquently about their role as student board members.
Great.
Yeah, and if you'd like to see that, just send me an email and I'll forward it to you, or any of the teacher board members have it too.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, board report, do you want to
Yeah,
start, Brian?
I'll start. Just talking kind of a little bit about our retreats. We've got two signs, one before this and then one on the third. First one, thanks Mary for your checking question. Appreciate it to get us kind of going and kind of build community throughout. It was a great question for us all to kind of dig a little bit deeper in. No pun intended with that one. It was
Spring, dig.
digs, flowers, there you go. And from there, we kind of looking at authorizers and trying to build up a list of our, some of our highlights throughout what we would search for new authorizers and what were our go-tos. From there, we kind of went over our, what am I looking at? A strategic plan, trying to make sure it's aligned with our vision and mission, And last but not least, we worked with Teamworks to work on that mission and vision, creating a draft to try to go with unity and trying to be more of one voice, one community, speaking throughout.
All right, and then to add to that, on February 28th, there was a book discussion that parents and community was all invited to. Tammy Brooks coordinated that, and I think Tammy did a great job. So thank you, Tammy. I talked to her today. She said there was a really nice turnout, a really nice conversation. Sounds like there'll be a follow-up in April. Right. So that's really great. It's a good way to get people involved. The book was The Anxious Generation, which has a lot of good nuggets in it, so that's good to know. Before today's meeting, we had a second workshop today with the purpose of, we met with Ashley from JB Bang, and we just got an update on our building construction, the timeline. Secondary building is on track to be open in the fall, definitely, and the budget. We met with Wendy and Sue from NEO, which as they are authorizers of charter schools, and they just shared some of their processes with us as well, their timelines for how they would do authorizing and what they have to support us. They have a lot of supports in place, it sounds like. And that was that. So I think that does it for the board report. Next up, expansion report.
Okay, so we heard a lot about the expansion in the budget and some of the things that we are working on. We also talked through, just for the record, some of the things that we are looking to add in the building for a total of $367,000 and change $1,000. They include long jump, shot put, and discus in order to be able to use the track for actual competitions. Window coverings for the Great Hall so that we can use that for any kind of performances that might include band, orchestra, choir, and then the theater productions, and then anything else that we might be hosting in the Great Hall during the day where we would need to darken the area. Window coverings for the first floor for safety reasons, and then interior window coverings for privacy on the windows that are inside the building. So those will be for the board to consider tonight, and those would be paid back. They would be paid for out of the construction budget and then reimbursed in the fiscal year 28 in order to fund those. In terms of construction, we are really far along in terms of construction. They were working on the canopy today over the front door. That's looking really nice. They expect that to be done this week, and also there's one in the back by the media center, was to be finished. The pendant lights, which are a really cool feature in the commons area, they're underway with those. The stairs in the main commons area, those seem to be rather elusive. Now we're looking at 3 to 4 weeks out on those. There's always another field measure apparently on those, but that is one last piece that's a bigger one. They're putting down the flooring in the band room tomorrow, and the rubber floor in the, they're calling it the fitness room right now, it's the weight room. That should go down in the next week or so. The last thing, that flooring that they will put down is in the cafeteria. They want to wait until they are finished with the kitchen. We had our food vendor out today at the construction site, and they were going over, trying to make sure that that kitchen will be the most efficient as possible. So that kitchen work is still forthcoming. And once that is done, then they'll do that floor. They don't want to take a risk on damaging our main floor. The elevator inspection is supposed to happen on Monday. However, we have been informed that elevator inspectors run on their own time schedule. So they may be there on Monday, they may be there sometime. Once the elevator is inspected and we are able to use it, we will, then we'll be cleared to use it. It does actually work right now, but it's not legal to use it and it's not calibrated completely, so I'm not going in an uninspected elevator. I don't know about the rest of you. The other thing that we did today, which is, it's not construction, but it is around the project. Shawnee and I and Dr. Raymond went out and went to the Innovative Showroom. They are moving from their Burnsville location up to International Market Square. So we went to both of those locations, and they gave us probably $30,000 worth of furniture today. So we just went through and said, they must like us, I don't know. We just went through and said, we want that, 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 and so they just pushed it off to the side, and we're gonna have to have a truck go out there end of the week to get it and take it to the new building. So we are very excited about that.
Wow, that's great.
What kind of furniture? Like classroom furniture, or is
It's a whole, they were all samples, so it's a kind of hodgepodge kind of thing. It's not the regular classroom furniture. A lot of it will go into the special ed area,
Okay.
and then some into the commons area.
Nice. Thank you.
And we'll be seeing in the next week or so about the lunch tables. So I know the names of the two schools, we just haven't been connected. One of them is right in my backyard. I don't know if we want that one, but we'll see. I don't know, we'll see. So we are, I should have more information next time when we come back to this furniture. That is all I have on expansion
Sounds
today.
exciting. Everything's going along. Love
Yeah.
it. Okay, for the ED report, did you want to speak, or should we have Dr. Tark?
Dr. Tarks is gonna give us an overview on, how we're instituting MTSS and MSA. This is a massive project. He will give us a 5-minute summary of the project.
Cool. All right, so we'll try to get the slides projected up, but there's also a handout for you too. So, one of the things that we want to kind of strategically make sure that we're doing kind of in this season as we prepare for the move is making sure that our systems are as strong as they can be to absolutely support the current students that we have, but also be prepared to welcome all the new students that we will have through the door and assess very quickly what the new needs are and get our new students up to speed with kind of our MSA way. And so one of the ways that we do that is really through our MTSS structure. And so we'll talk a little bit about MTSS tonight because we want to make sure we're as prepared as we can be. So we're kind of in this season right now where we've really worked on this idea of a strategic roadmap for the next, kind of a 3-phase strategic roadmap. How do we prepare our culture and our community for the move? And so what are the kind of culture pieces that we want to work on this spring to make sure that we're ready for all the changes that are coming? And then what do we do in the first 6 months inside of our new building to make sure that our students are integrated, and kind of what is our long-term plan? And so right now, Caitlin, we are on slide 4, right? And so, so we're kind of working on that. And actually, go to slide 5. We'll go there first. Yeah, there we go. And so we have kind of 3 goals in this next season as we look at this kind of three set of phases. Goal 1 is really to bring our values to life. So how as a community and a culture do we make sure that the values pop off the page and that we have a shared understanding amongst all the members of our staff of what our values mean and what those look like in action. So we've been doing some engagement touch points on that. We also are working really hard on this idea of strengthening shared leadership. And so how do we ensure that in this kind of season of change and growth that we've got voice at the table? that the folks that are the ones doing the work are a part of solving the problems and coming up with the solutions, and so we're really looking at shared leadership. And then of course we're looking at goal 3 as well, which is teaching and learning momentum. So how do we make sure that as we're adding more kids to the table, that we keep that rigor high, that we keep the experience strong, and that we keep that momentum going around our teaching and learning work that we're all growing. Next slide. Part of the work really then around that teaching and learning momentum is articulating our MTSS strategic improvement plan and objectives. And so MTS has been something here at MSA for a number of years, and we've taken some time this year to kind of do an evaluation of where we are on our MTSS journey, and so we'll kind of share a little bit with you on that. So next slide. So what is MTSS? So MTSS has been around, it's had a number of different names, but it's been around for about 20 years now. There's once upon a time it was called RTI, but now the term really is MTSS. And MTSS is kind of this strategic way of designing your resources as a school to make sure that you're meeting the needs of every kid that walks in the door. And so it's really broken into 3 tiers of support. And so you've got your tier 1, which is your core instruction, your core series of supports that every student has access to. And then you've got a tier 2 and a tier 3 level of supports for kids that aren't getting enough with that kind of initial boost. Next slide. MTSS kind of works with 4 qualities to it. One is a universal screener. So there's a series of screeners for both academic measures, social emotional behavior measures, where every student is screened. And so there's a series of benchmarks that we're looking for. When kids come into the building, we've got a series of screeners in place so that we can identify anybody that's not where they need to be right from the get-go. We use fast bridge assessment. That's an example of a universal screener. There's other different kind of screening tools that we use as well, but that really flags students that are in need of additional support, right? Then you've got your tier 1, and if we implement our tier 1 well, that's our core instruction, our core curriculum. Implement that well, that should meet the needs of about 80% of our students. So students walk in, here's the bar, our core instruction should be able to meet the needs of about 80% of our students. That doesn't always happen in every environment, but that's really our goal. And so supporting a tier 1 kind of component is making sure that our curriculum is cohesive and that our instruction is really, really strong. And so we're building that common experience. But then for about 20% of kids, core instruction isn't going to be enough. And so then you have a level of tier 2 supports that kind of jump in. And so those would be more targeted interventions. So an additional dose of math support, maybe several times a week is an example of that. But it's a little extra boost, a little extra focus on some of those kind of learning experiences. And that's going to get about 15% more of your kids up to where you need to be. So tier 2 meets the needs of about 15%. And then tier 3, you're still going to have about 5% of kids that need a really intensive extra dose. And so for tier 3, you have interventions that kind of jump in place where you increase intensity, increase the frequency with which you're getting an intervention. And so we have structures that we build at all 3 levels to make sure that whatever needs students have, we're able to first of all identify them, then we're able to kind of meet those needs. Next slide. Minnesota has really embraced this idea of MTSS, and across the state they have adopted this as our core measure for how we do schools. And so MDE has realigned everything they do through an MTSS lens, and it's called MTSS. So every single thing they have, they live there, and they really designed their approach around 5 areas. And so you've got infrastructure for continuous improvement, family and community engagement, multi-layered practices and supports, assessment systems, and database decision making. So they really kind of say that as we're looking at these 3 tiers, we also have these additional areas that we need to be nurturing as a school to make sure these 3 tiers of support work like they should. Next slide. So where are we at MSA, right? We've been implementing this for a while. We have infrastructure in place, right? We have worked really hard on that infrastructure for a number of years. We have a student support team process, we have a PLC process in place where we're looking at the screening data, where we're responding to that data, growing in the kind of teaching and learning realm. But we've also wanted to take some time this year as an admin team to take a look at where do we need to get better. And so we attended a fairly robust 6-part series that leads school leaders through a kind of a critical review of your MTSS process. And so the entire admin team participated. They were 3-hour sessions, and there was 6 of them, where we walked through this semi-DLT is what the MDE calls it. And it's basically this really robust survey of our internal MTSS practices. It's got 100 questions that we talked through as an admin team, and we self-assessed our level of implementation in each of those areas. It was actually a really, really meaningful time to sit down and have some intentional conversation about this. And several areas kind of emerged as kind of strengths in areas that are next. And so you can go next slide, Caitlin. So strengths that we have in place already is we have an MTSS handbook. It's a really well spelled out view of how our MTSS structures work. We already have tiered student support process in place. We have grade level problem solving team, intervention support, leadership engagement. And so we've really got the foundational structures of MTSS in place. We're not starting this at the ground level. We've got a lot of those structures already working. Now our goal is continuous improvement. How do we make them work better? Next slide. And so 3 areas that we did identify as what will be part of our focus areas in moving forward our teaching and learning goals. One is really strengthening data-driven decision making. So we collect data, but are we using it as consistently in every space as we could and should, right? And so really training our team on how to use data well and how to respond to data, making sure that we as an admin team continue to refine our processes of reviewing data and rooting every decision we make inside of a data-driven approach. And so that's going to be one area objective that we work on over the next year. The next one is really expanding that that family engagement kind of component. How do we make sure that we are inviting all of our families in, that they feel welcome and supported, participating in our teaching and learning process? And so there's a number of different things that kind of emerge that we'll be working on. First of all, we really want to enhance our shared capacity to engage with families. We want to make sure that teachers feel comfortable reaching out to families. They know how to build those relationships and those partnerships. We're really looking at things like increasing the amount of interpreters, and how do we make sure that interpretation services are available to every family that needs it, in some of these engagement components. And so we're looking at some of those areas. And then our third area is really improving the consistency of intervention systems. We have them, now we need to refine them. We need to make sure that they're working as well as they can. And so, really looking at those criteria for entering intervention, exiting intervention, monitoring intervention. Those are the areas that we're working to do better and kind of refine our processes around. Next slide. Why does this matter? Because we want to make sure that in order to achieve our goal of excellence, that's excellence for all kids. And so when you come to us, regardless of where you are, regardless of where your academic performance has historically been, your social emotional needs have historically been, when you come to us, you're ours, right? And we're going to embrace every child that walks into the door at MSA, and we want to make sure that we have a proactive plan in place to figure out what the needs are right away and respond with the right supports to get kids where they need to be. So MTSS is the way that we're going to kind of fulfill that. So just wanted to give an update today on that MTSS trajectory. It's going to be a big part of our work for years to come. This is kind of some of the work we've done this year. So there's MTSS. More's on the handout. So, yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Parks. Question?
Yeah, what have we learned, since we're gonna be talking about surveys later, what have we learned from past surveys about how families wanna be engaged?
That's a good question, and I'll be perfectly frank, that's not an answer that I have a good answer, that I know too much of. I'm still kind of at the initial stage of looking at MTSS. One of the things that I'll be able to share out within the next couple of months is an even more robust strategic plan around MTSS improvement. So this is kind of high level at the moment, but that is one of the tasks that I'm working on. I have not lived in the survey data yet, so that's a part of my next steps. I don't know if Dr. Hinton has spent a little bit more time on the survey side of things, but that's definitely something that we want to do and we're working on, but at this moment I can't give a...
And I don't believe we've surveyed that question before.
Yep. So that is a good piece of feedback that we can embed in some of our next steps.
Any other questions for Dr. Parks?
Are those 80 and 15.5 percentages specific of what MSA is doing right now, or just kind of the general idea of what most schools would
Great
usually
question.
add?
Yeah, so that's kind of the structure of when MTSS is really clicking, that's how it's supposed to work. So that's what the data tells us is when you do core instruction well, 80% of kids should have their core needs met through your core supports. And that's true, so there's the MTSS structure for both teaching and learning, but also for social emotional, and so, daily community building, routines, the structures that we have in place, when they work well, we should be able to meet the needs of about 80% of our kids. But then there's gonna be additional needs that emerge and we have to have those structures in place as well. So, I would say that it's probably actually quite rare for that to be exactly the numbers, how it works at a school. I would say that if any school was to kind of live by the truest triangle of 80, 15, and 5, MSA is probably about as close as it gets to that triangle. So
There are a
Jen
lot of
agrees.
schools that their tier 1 is, 20% of their population.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, you just really have to do a lot of adjustment to your tier 1 instruction, because you can't put 80% of your kids in intervention.
there's a very common phrase in a lot of environments, we can't tier 2 our way out of academic problems, right? It can't be intervention. We've got to get our core instructional house in order. And so tier 1 really is where you want to build the majority of your strategy around, because that's where you're touching the most kids. But you also need a thoughtful tier 2 and tier 3. So yeah.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
I have a question on your
Yes.
report.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Could you say the name of the company that's offering to donate the furniture? And do we have a relationship with them? I just wanna make sure that we're documenting the gifts properly and we have knowledge of their relationship with us.
So Innovative is our furniture vendor. And so they are clearing out their storeroom. So this will all be part of, or their,
Future audits and just future consideration, but it sounds like it's pretty
Yeah.
significant value that we should document.
and I don't have the exact pricing on it, but I can ask them to submit something. They probably will want to anyway, because they'll write that off. So.
Good. All right, thank you. Sarah, do you have a fundraising committee report?
I do have a finance committee.
Finance, sorry.
You're good. We
Seriously.
we talked about it a little bit. We met last Thursday, and talked a little bit with people who were there. Our current budget surplus was at 27,000. ADM was 736, and then projected days cash on hand was 82, and our debt service coverage ratio was 0.95. So we were below for both of those things. I know we said we could have either or. And bondholders are aware of it. They understand we're in this situation. It's mostly due to a shift in funds with our fiscal year. We had 250,000 or 250 of our ERC funds like in a year before that did not carry to this year. So our amounts were off a little bit due to that. And it's okay. We're all right. But we talked about it. We're aware of it. We were 66.67 of the way through the fiscal year, and then revenues and expenditures were about at that amount. So we were reflecting pretty well. Yeah, we talked a little bit more about our lease aid applications, and then some more cash investments. We're showing some negative balances, and just due to where they were showing up and the funds and when they were received. But it will even out. Yeah, and then we talked a lot about the alternates list with Kate that we already went over. So
So, we need a motion to approve the February financial report.
I can make the motion to approve the financial report there.
Is there a second? Questions? All right, all in favor of approving the financial report for February of 2026? Aye. Opposed? abstain? Great, thank you, Sarah. Okay, we're gonna move on to our action items. The first one is the calendar. We had approved this at our last meeting, and then we found, just the numbers, simple typo, almost mistake. So, this has been fixed, there was a chance to review this. Let's start with a motion to approve the calendar. The draft calendar for 26-27.
I will move to approve the draft calendar for the school year.
Is that draft, sorry?
It's revised.
Revised,
Revised.
thank you,
Revised.
revised.
Of the 26-27 school year.
Second,
I can second.
any questions or comments on the revised calendar?
So I can just share, if that's all right,
Yeah,
what the
please do.
revision was. We were short one day. And so what we did do, and that happened because we shifted the conferences into one full day, like noon to 8, I don't know. Don't quote me on that exact time frame, but they were into the, like noon until later in the evening. But in doing that, we lost a school day, essentially, so we made half a digital day on the mornings of both conference days. So, that's how we will make up those minutes. And then our hours come out fine because the way, right now we have a staggered dismissal because of our busing and parent pickup situation. We will not have that next year, so we'll regain 5 minutes in the school day, which then allows us to get well over the number of required hours, because charter schools also have a time component besides school days, so that allows us to hit that mark, and we meet all the statutory requirements with the calendar now.
Questions?
So Kate, will we be able to also, I know at one point there was, we had to look at passing time, and because of our 4 buildings, we had to increase passing time, and that doesn't count as instructional time. Again, here's the dinosaur in the room. Because I remember these conversations, having been here for those. Will we be able to regain some of that time because we won't need as much passing time? Where we're all in one building? I mean,
But the building is significantly larger than any one of our buildings, so I think 5 minutes passing time is still a reasonable amount of passing time. If we find the kids are out carrying on and dawdling about and they have way too much time, then I don't think anyone would be opposed to reducing the time. But given the size of the building, I think 5 minutes is still reasonable.
okay.
It's nice for teachers to be able to go to the bathroom too.
And the kids.
And the kids, but they get to go during class, we don't.
Any other questions on the calendar? Okay, so our motion is to approve the revised calendar for 2026-27. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay, calendar passes. Next up, we have 3 surveys that have been created, so we'll do the motion first. Is there a motion to approve the 3 of the parent, staff, and student satisfaction surveys?
I'll move to approve the parent, staff, and student surveys.
Second?
I can second.
All right. Survey committee, would you like to briefly share anything that you did, or?
I just have a quick question. I know there was a request brought forward about communication on Friday. Did that get added? I'm sorry.
Yes, that's
In the
added
hospital.
to the staff satisfaction survey. That, I think that we added that as question 23 or 24.
Thank you. I wasn't sure where it got
23.
plugged in.
Yeah.
So,
So I think we tried to get it with the multiple choice questions, so we bumped it some other ones.
That's 23.
And I think there was another correction, something was it was a comment type question, and it had the 4 choices, agree, strongly, or whatever. We just corrected that as well.
is there entire reading number 18 has order in it.
Which
The
survey?
student satisfaction survey. I'm sorry, I did not see it when I was first reading it, but I'm seeing it now.
We
With
can
order.
remove that. Because this will have to be typed into the survey system, like this isn't, so we will correct that.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, so, all in favor of approving the 3 surveys that we have? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes, thank you. Next, we have our board election ballot for the 2026-27 school year board of directors. Let's take a motion to approve the ballot and the candidates. Is there a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve the ballot for the parent and teacher election.
Okay. Second?
I second that.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Mark.
All right, any questions about the parent-teacher ballot?
I just want to thank everybody for stepping in and putting their names in the hat. It was great to have this amount of response this year.
Yes. And the parent candidates that we have, not. Did we?
Do you want me to
No, did we
address
actually,
that?
did we remove one?
Yes, so we had one parent who put their name in, and while we would have loved to have included her, currently our process or our bylaws state that you have to be able to reasonably fulfill the entire length of term, which is 3 years. And her children will be juniors next year, so she would only be able to fulfill 2 out of the 3 years. She was very wonderful and forthcoming after she had put it through and said, I can only do 2 years. So after a conversation, we found out exactly why. But we thank her for coming forward and for being honest with that. It is something that the election committee has asked us to be sending back to governance to take a look at that. So you'll get 2 emails from me.
Vera, I do see that she's still in the nomination list. Her self-nomination is still.
I'll have Emma remove that before we post that.
Okay. I'm sorry, I did not see that, but yes. I looked for her on the ballot and I didn't see her there.
Yeah,
That's okay.
We'll get that corrected
Okay,
before we post it.
sounds good. Any other questions? All right, so all in favor of approving the 2026-27 board election ballot? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes. Our next action item is we have a vacant community member seat because one of our community members moved out of state. And so as a vacancy like that is the board's responsibility to fill the seat. And we have had 5 people step forward who would be happy to fill that spot, and they submitted their nomination, and 5 wonderful candidates. So thankful that there are that many people in the community who want to support MSA. We're gonna vote, and so what we're gonna do is Jen's gonna pass out the ballot.
Do we need to make a motion first?
Do we need to vote? I don't have to vote, do we? We have to motion to vote?
No, I think you would have to motion to approve once you're done.
Once we get there, okay.
Like the election of.
Yep. So, the ballot is a ranked choice order ballot. There are 5 candidates, their names are listed in the order that their nominations were received. You'll go through and 5 will be your number 1 choice, 4, 3, 2, and now 1. And then sign your name, and when you're done, you can fold and return to Jen. Jen's doing that. Leanne put together a spreadsheet for Jen to use, which is really nifty, and it's an easy way to tabulate. So thank you, Leanne, for making the spreadsheet.
Just so you could.
I don't wanna get it
Get
mixed
your-
up with,
Your
thank you.
grading pile.
Yes, my grading pile, my.
During this downtime, Isaac will sing us a song.
Brian's
Be
gonna do
patient
us a
with me
dance.
while
I do it, I'm doing the dance right now, it's so.
I want you to play the Jeopardy music.
Okay, don't at all.
That won't make you nervous, will it?
Not at all.
Did you add them numbers right?
Did I add the numbers right?
No, because Leanne already made
She made the
a
sheet, which makes it-
spreadsheet.
Yeah, I just have to click, it's nice, I don't have to add it, add it for me. Sweet.
You're all good. It's supposed to be 70
Should be
degrees,
like the,
60 degrees tomorrow, nice.
SNL, I'll give you a topic to talk about.
Yeah, what you,
Exactly. The Roman
Question?
Empire was either Roman or an empire.
Discuss.
Okay, so here's a, since we didn't have a question for tonight's workshop, I have one for you that we can talk about while she's working.
Sure.
What book is on your read list right now?
Ooh, I'm reading, has anybody watched the show Slow Horses?
Is there a book that goes with that?
It's a whole series, like
Oh, wow.
each season is a book. So,
Yeah.
about the Slough House, so it's fun.
I just started Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, that's
Um,
really good.
I just started, like last night.
Okay, I won't tell you.
So, don't quiz me on it yet. I haven't seen the movie for it though, so I wanted to read the book before the movie. So I hear, yeah. But so far so good. Yeah, my previous book I just ended was a journalist view on North Korea from defectors' interviews. It was super fascinating. It was super interesting.
Right?
I'm gonna do a reread. It's one that, many years ago we read to at-risk students. It's called The Fred Factor. Fred Factor. And it's taking it back and looking at society
Sign
and all the little things in
Sign the
your
seal.
world
Here.
that you
Yeah.
take for
the,
granted.
you will know if anyone will.
And realizing sometimes it's the small things that make the biggest differences in every one of our lives. So
That's cool.
it
What's it
helps,
called?
The Fred Factor. It's an easy read, it's like 110 pages. So it's, yeah.
I gave up on Dungeon Crawler Carl. Just saying. I don't know if any of you have read that one yet, but. Done.
There's, what is it, Remarkable Creatures?
Oh,
There's like the
that's so
show
good.
coming, or the movie's
it?
coming out, and I wanna read it before I watch that, but I'm on hold at the library,
What's
so.
the premise of it?
The one with the octopus?
Yeah, is it good? Have you
So
read it?
good, yeah.
Okay, well, don't tell me.
Remarkable creatures, huh?
Taking a break from reading till I finish grad school, so math textbooks.
Oh, God, those are riveting.
Yeah.
Kari?
I'm reading Where Wolves Don't Die, and this is a young adult literature book that the 8th grade students are currently reading. So I thought I would follow along and be able to support all discussion in that. And it is written by Anton Trur, who's a professor of Ojibwe at Bemidji State University. It's set in northeast Minneapolis. It's fascinating just to see the local connection.
Those all sound wonderful. Mine sound really boring. I plowed, over spring break, I plowed through a book I picked up last summer, and I highly recommend it to all of you. Maybe you too, but we only have 3 months left, and it's the 10 characteristics of a high-functioning board, or high-functioning charter school, by Dr. Tom Miller. It's been fascinating to read and everything, so that was plow 1. Now we've moved on to navigating autism, only because it was recommended to read prior to reading one that is more closely aligned with strength-based, which I've done a lot of work with strength-based, Clifton Strength Finders, when it comes to autism. So I'm reading line grades. I think they're fascinating, but not everybody does, so.
Well, we
Do
do
we have
have
a
a,
result?
we do have, yep, we're all good. So do we put the person's name in the motion, or do we just?
Well,
Do the
do we
motion
have,
or how
yes,
does
do we
that-
have a clear winner?
We have a very clear winner, yes.
Okay, so
Yep.
who, will we be,
So we will be appointing Jennifer Larson
great.
as our newest community member.
You know, Jennifer is a parent of elementary students, and she's worked closely with Dr. Tarks and the elementary expansion team in doing things for MSA in preparation for elementary, so. Someday she may be a parent here, or we don't know, she may not, right now she's a community member, so. Once again, thank you to all 5 candidates. We had, like I said, 5 amazingly strong choices to pick from. And everyone brought some really good expertise in areas. So, we need a motion to approve Jennifer Larson as our new community member on the board.
I can make the motion.
Oh, 1 second.
All in favor of Jennifer Larson joining our board? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? All right, that passes. Thank you. Congratulations to Jennifer, and we will be in touch with her then for getting the onboard training she needs so we can actually install her.
Yeah, hopefully we can get her seated in April.
That'd be great.
I was gonna say with the, website that was talked about tonight, and peeked on it quick, the Minnesota Charter Board,
Yep.
and that training is right there, so it shouldn't be that hard to be able to do.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, moving on, we, next item is we need to, motion to approve the alternates list that we went over with, JB Bang, and Kate talked a little bit about. Is there a motion to approve our alternates list?
I move to approve the alternate list.
Second?
Second.
So once again, this is a list of alternate items to add to our budget. It'll come out of the elementary budget, but will be paid back, either in 2027 or 2028 when elementary starts. Any questions about that list? All right, all in favor of approving the alternates list for our budget? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? And motion passes, thank you. All right, our last action item is we need to approve the contract, which is in draft form, that we will have with NEO, Innovation Education Opportunities, as a new authorizer. Do we have a motion to do that?
I move that we approve the contract with NEO, to present to the state as our new authorizer,
In draft form.
in draft form, yes.
I second that motion.
Any, so we had a chance to meet with the representatives from NEO. Any comments or questions?
Do we have to alert IQS of anything?
Yeah, we'll work with them then too.
Okay.
They also are aware that we are working with, and then this is, when we actually originally talked with IQS, we asked who they suggested we also apply to, and they suggested NEO, so it's not, it's a process that everyone is aware of how this all works, so they wouldn't be surprised by this. We've been very transparent about it. They probably know from, because they're watching our website, they probably know we're voting on this
Yeah.
tonight.
Any other thoughts, comments?
I would say I'm excited about the potential partnership and really pleased with the discussion we had during the workshop and the answers that were given. High confidence that they'll be able to support us through these next critical stages that our school's gonna be going through.
Thank you, Lana, and I will say it's been very, very easy to work with them through this process. It has been, they're very self-sufficient in terms of being able to find data, and I will share with you the framework that we have with them, but we come out very well in their framework too, which is, I think, positive for us moving
The
forward.
framework, if I recall, is in the packet.
Right, but the rating framework,
Oh.
like where we, because when they went through and rated us on that framework, as part of their process. So I will share that with you this evening, so you can take a look at, and that's also where they'll be tracking us moving forward. So it's a public document, so I'll share that with you. I think we missed 1 point out of, I don't know how many, but we got 98.5%, which is significantly more than what would be required for a good score with them.
Should've brought the donuts.
Well, you know, we had the pizza in the parking lot, remember?
And then we had pie, right?
I've been very impressed with what they've asked from us and everything else. I think we'd be remiss as we look forward and looking to move to NEO, to say thank you to Sam for 13 plus years of their authorization with us. That's been a relationship that's been there for a long time. And they're moving on and ending their time as authorizers is allowing us to really move forward in a timely manner to get our elementary school hopefully submitted to the state for approval and things like that. So thank you, Sam, for the history we have had with you, and I'm excited to see what happens in the next 13 plus years with NEO. And excited that we're looking at a 5-year contract.
Yeah. And so just to add on to what you said, Mary, and John has been phenomenal to work with through this process. So we have really had a very smooth process, and he's been very responsive and helpful with us moving forward as well. So thank you.
And I'll pass it on to the board. So-
Okay.
And we only wish you well.
I feel like we're lucky to have two organizations that are fully supporting us, so.
Yeah.
It's great. Okay, so let's vote. The motion is to approve the draft contract with Innovation Education Opportunities, otherwise known as NEO, as our authorizer. All in favor? Resounding aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes. Yay. That is really exciting. Very, I think, very pleased. All right, that is all for our action items. Future, we'll be looking at furniture outside of the warehouse clearance sale we benefited from. A draft budget, our next workshop is on Tuesday, April 7th. Does someone want to do the opening question for that one? Pick a question that y'all ask and talk about.
How silly you are.
Could be whatever you want.
Okay, I can.
Brian?
Oh,
All
I
right.
feel like I might be sick.
This flu that's going around.
Okay,
But it does.
with that said, is there anything else? Otherwise, it is 7:04 and meeting is adjourned.
I think we have to have a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
You're so excited!
You're so excited.
I'm so excited how,
How about I move to adjourn?
thank you, Jen. Okay, I second that.
All right.
And all in favor? Aye, opposed, abstained, have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.